What just happened in Indiana? Kelsey Mitchell, the heartbeat of the Fever, the player who carried this franchise through chaos, has just walked away. No leaks, no cryptic countdowns, just gone. And the whole WNBA is asking the same question. Why now? What looked like a calm offseason just turned into a 5-alarm fire. The moment the news dropped, her hoops blew up with messages. Fans stunned, players speechless, and insiders whispering that this move didn't come out of nowhere.
Kelsey Mitchell was turning some heads after posting a cryptic message online. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy. Kelsey Mitchell, what they're going to do. We heard Amber Cox in their exit interview that Kelsey Mitchell was the main priority. Kelsey Mitchell definitely need to be the top priority of free agency this year once again. Now, I know some of you guys is wondering, John, I thought we just went through this last year. Well, I'm here to tell you, we about to go through this again, and videos about to get coming out the pipeline.
Something's been brewing behind the scenes, and it's way deeper than a simple contract issue. Let's be real, this wasn't supposed to happen. Indiana was finally starting to find its rhythm. Caitlin Clark had the city buzzing. The Fever were supposed to be next up. But instead of building on that momentum, the franchise just lost one of the most loyal, explosive guards in the game.
And everything, we have to track the movement of Kelsey Mitchell, what she's doing, what she's posting, because as of right now, Kelsey Mitchell was the biggest asset of the Indiana Fever next to Caitlin Clark. If we're talking performance, leading, scoring, doing everything she need to do to make sure we're relevant, she's that piece, bro. And yeah, it's just unfortunate, but this is the biggest elephant in the room, dog. Kelsey Mitchell and her future.
And it didn't happen with a headline. It happened with silence. A quiet post, a subtle goodbye, no press tour, no drama, just impact. And here's where the questions start rolling in. Did Kelsey get pushed out? Was it about money? Or was it about respect? Because for someone who bled red and gold for 8 straight seasons, this exit doesn't look like a thank you moment. It looks like a statement, a line in the sand. This isn't just another player leaving a team. This is a message to the league, a message to the front office, and maybe even to Caitlin Clark herself. So buckle up, because this story isn't about what happened today.
Will she remain in Indiana? Will her barely, get into the finals kind of make her want to go somewhere else? She's going to be the hottest free agent of it all, but yeah, I would say, yeah, Kelsey Mitchell probably is the hottest one. We're talking overall scoring machine, do it all offensively. Kelsey Mitchell is definitely the hottest free agent because she's definitely a free agent, guys. Let's talk about this. So before we get into this article, I want to talk about Kelsey Mitchell post. Now, Kelsey Mitchell made a post yesterday.
It's about what's been building for months. From locker room tension to leadership breakdowns, from loyalty questioned to lessons ignored. We're diving deep into what really pushed Kelsey Mitchell to walk away from Indiana. You're watching her hoops, and this is where the Fever just lost their fire. Let's rewind, because this story didn't start with a resignation post. It started months ago, long before anyone outside the Fever locker room knew something was off. Kelsey Mitchell wasn't just another player.
Go Alexa, then Rich. Kelsey, this is a question kind of looking ahead, being a free agent, having an off season ahead of you. There's obviously uncertainty across the board, across the league. Have you put any thought into, what you think you might, wish for, 2026 for yourself, whether you'd like to be back or anything along those lines?
I hope we got a league. So for there, I hope that when it's all said and done, we can, have a season period for all the girls, for every person that's, aspirations to be in the league and be in the W. I think for one, that's the start, being on the same page with that. Bless you.
She was the rock that kept this franchise upright through 8 painful seasons of rebuilds, rotations, and front office chaos. When other stars walked out, she stayed. When the losses piled up, she kept scoring. When Caitlin Clark arrived and all the attention shifted, Kelsey didn't complain. She adapted. That's who she's always been. But here's the truth. Loyalty in sports only lasts as long as the organization values it. And Indiana? They got comfortable. Too comfortable. The Fever front office had one off-season priority.
Now, we seen this last year, bro. Kelsey Mitchell, really, she don't post like that on social media, bro. She don't really be posting like that. She's kind of private, some of what I've been noticing. But she made a post. She had some pictures. We finna react to it. So this is what Kelsey Mitchell put yesterday. She stated, had to get it different than everybody else.
Keep Kelsey Mitchell, lock her in early, reward her loyalty. But instead, the negotiations dragged. Delays, excuses, waiting for cap numbers, waiting for the CBA. It was always waiting. Meanwhile, other teams were circling like hawks. Dallas, Vegas, New York, each one ready to make their move. And while the front office hesitated, the signs started showing. Kelsey's interviews got shorter. Her smiles got rarer. Her posts about the team turned into posts about family, gratitude, reflection. You didn't need a press release to see it. You just had to pay attention. Then came the breaking point, Caitlin Clark's mid-season injury. When the league's golden girl went down, everyone thought the Fever were finished. But Kelsey, she stepped up, averaging nearly 20 a night, running the offense, carrying a depleted roster on pure grit. She kept Indiana alive. And what was her reward? Analytics reports saying she didn't fit long-term next to Caitlin. Translation, she was expendable. That's when the clock started ticking. Because once a player like Kelsey, loyal, respected, elite, feels undervalued, it's over. You don't get that trust back. By the time the off-season rolled around, the writing was already on the wall. Indiana didn't lose Kelsey overnight. They lost her piece by piece, with every delay, every doubt, every missed opportunity to say, "You matter here." And now they're paying the price. So, how did this actually fall apart? Because from the outside looking in, the Fever were stable for the first time in years. But behind closed doors, it was a mess of mixed signals, power plays, and pride. Let's start with the negotiations. Sources close to the situation told reporters that Kelsey's deal should have been done months before free agency even opened. But the front office dragged its feet. They wanted flexibility. Code for, we don't want to commit big money until we know Caitlin's next deal. They were betting that Kelsey would wait. Spoiler alert, she didn't. The longer the silence dragged on, the louder the message got. You don't delay signing your veteran leader unless you're planning for life without her. And players pick up on that instantly. Every unreturned call, every "we're still figuring numbers out," every half-hearted text from management saying, "hang tight," it adds up. Then came the analytics talk. Multiple insiders confirmed that Indiana's staff started analyzing how to make the offense more Clark-centric. And guess who didn't fit into that vision? Kelsey Mitchell. Despite leading the team in scoring and stabilizing the backcourt, the front office viewed her play style, isolation scoring, rhythm shooting, mid-range heavy, as outdated. That right there? That's the dagger. Because when a player sacrifices everything for the team, plays through injuries, carries them when the superstar is down, and you still tell her she doesn't fit? That's not strategy, that's disrespect. And here's the wildest part. She didn't even fight back publicly. No shade tweets, no drama, just professionalism. Silence. That's how you know it's deeper than money. She wasn't leaving for a better paycheck. She was leaving because she felt done. So when the announcement dropped, no press conference, no teary goodbye. It wasn't sudden. It was the quiet end of something that had been dying for months. Indiana thought they were managing a roster. Kelsey Mitchell knew she was managing her worth. And in the end, she made the hardest move of all, choosing herself over a system that stopped believing in her. Here's where everything exploded, quietly but powerfully. Because once Caitlin Clark arrived, everything in Indiana changed. The fans changed, the coverage changed, even the tone in the locker room changed. And while nobody said it out loud, everyone felt it. This was now Caitlin's team. Now, don't get it twisted. Caitlin Clark didn't do anything wrong. She's a generational talent, and her impact on women's basketball is undeniable. But the Fever's obsession with building around her, rather than with her, sent ripples through that locker room. Kelsey Mitchell, the 8-year veteran who had been through every storm, suddenly became the other guard, the co-star in a movie she used to headline. And that's when things got tense. Players noticed it. Reporters felt it. Even fans picked up on the shift in energy. Every press conference started revolving around Caitlin. Every media headline, Clark leads Fever comeback. Even when Kelsey dropped 28 and carried the team. The narrative was rewriting itself in real time, and Mitchell was being erased from her own story. Then, when Caitlin went down mid-season, everyone expected chaos. But Kelsey? She delivered. She took control, averaged nearly 20 a night, and proved she was still that player. She stabilized the team. She kept the dream alive. And yet, what did the front office do? Instead of celebrating her leadership, they quietly questioned her fit. Too ball dominant, not a system guard, better as a secondary piece. It's no wonder fans started whispering about tension, not between Kelsey and Caitlin personally, but between Kelsey and the system that now revolved around someone else. Because make no mistake, Kelsey Mitchell didn't leave because she couldn't play alongside Caitlin. She left because the organization stopped believing she should. And that's where this whole thing boils over. It's not a basketball problem, it's a respect problem. When a team starts treating its veterans like placeholders for the next big thing, loyalty dies fast. And what we're seeing now, the silence, the uncertainty, the frustration, is what happens when a franchise forgets that building a dynasty takes more than one superstar. The Fever didn't lose Kelsey Mitchell in free agency, they lost her in philosophy. Now let's dig into what really pushed Kelsey Mitchell to walk away, because this wasn't a snap decision. This was personal, emotional, built up over time until it couldn't be ignored anymore. In her final interview before the news broke, Kelsey didn't sound like a player chasing money or attention. She sounded like someone exhausted, someone carrying more than just the weight of basketball. She spoke about family, about losing her father, about wanting to be there for her mom, her siblings, her grandmother. She said something that hit every fan right in the heart. "I'm going to take my time and figure out what my family needs, and what I need internally." That's not a quote from someone plotting a trade. That's a woman recognizing she's been running on empty. And that's where the bigger truth lies. Kelsey has been the engine for the Fever for 8 seasons. Through losing seasons, rebuilds, and injuries, she was always there, playing heavy minutes, rarely resting, often pushing through pain because the team needed her. But behind the scenes, there were growing concerns about player safety and load management under head coach Stephanie White's high-intensity system. White's style demands constant motion, non-stop pressure, great for TV, brutal on bodies. Fans saw it, other players felt it, and Kelsey, she lived it. She's spoken before about the need for balance, not just physically, but mentally. And when you combine that with feeling undervalued by your own organization, it's the perfect storm for burnout. So imagine this. You've given your prime years to a team, your body to the game, and your loyalty to a city. Then suddenly, you're hearing whispers that you don't fit the future, that the new system doesn't have room for what you bring. That's not just insulting, that's heartbreaking. This is why her exit was so quiet. There were no fireworks, no drama, just peace. The peace that comes when you finally stop fighting for a seat at a table that's already moved on without you. And that's what makes this story so powerful. Kelsey didn't just resign from the Fever, she reclaimed her voice. Sometimes the loudest statement a player can make is to simply walk away. Kelsey Mitchell's exit isn't just an Indiana Fever story anymore. It's a WNBA wake-up call. Because what happened here exposes something much bigger than one player, one team, or one contract. It exposes how the league treats its veterans once the next big star arrives. We've seen this movie before. A franchise drafts a superstar, the media locks in, the marketing machine goes wild, and suddenly everyone who built the foundation gets pushed to the side. It happened in Chicago after Parker left. It happened in Phoenix after the Taurasi era faded. And now it's happening in Indiana, where the rush to build Caitlin Clark's team might have just cost them their soul. Here's the truth no one in the front office wants to say out loud. Kelsey Mitchell was the balance. She made Caitlin's job easier. She drew defenders. She stabilized the offense when things went off the rails. She gave that young roster a backbone, the kind of presence no rookie can replace. Without her, everything shifts. Defenses will smother Clark. Turnovers go up. The offense slows down. That rhythm the Fever finally found, gone. And worse, the locker room just lost its quiet leader, the one who held everyone accountable without needing a camera to notice. But this also stretches beyond Indiana. Around the league, players are watching. They're watching how loyalty gets rewarded, or doesn't. They're watching how organizations choose between the future and the ones who built it. And fans? They're catching on too. The excitement that Caitlin Clark brought to the WNBA has been incredible. Record ratings, sold-out arenas, new audiences. But if that comes at the cost of alienating the veterans who made this league stable enough to support a star like Clark, then the WNBA risks losing its core identity. Because here's the irony. Kelsey Mitchell's departure might be the clearest proof yet that the league is growing, but not necessarily maturing. And that's the crossroads the WNBA stands at right now. Do they keep chasing the spotlight? Or do they learn to protect the people who made it possible? Her hoops isn't here to sugarcoat it. This isn't just about one player walking away. It's about the message that sends to every player still thinking, am I next? When the news broke, fans said it felt like a gut punch. No long goodbye, no jersey retirement tease, just Kelsey Mitchell, gone. And maybe that's what hurts the most. Because for all the chaos, for all the debate, for all the headlines that focused on Caitlin Clark, Kelsey was the constant. The one who kept showing up. The one who never needed the camera to validate her worth. But here's the thing, the WNBA doesn't always reward the quiet ones. It rewards the hype, the next face, the marketable star. And that's the reality Kelsey Mitchell just rejected. You can almost feel the shift happening right now. Fans who used to scroll past Fever highlights are suddenly realizing just how much she did for this team. The movement, the defense, the shot creation. The unglamorous work that doesn't trend on TikTok but wins games in June. Now the Fever have to face a brutal truth. They didn't lose a piece. They lost their pulse. And for Caitlin Clark, this is where the real pressure begins. Because now there's no Kelsey safety net. No veteran floor spacer to bail out possessions. No calming presence when defenses throw everything at her. Caitlin's about to face the full weight of being the franchise. And she might finally realize just how much easier that job was with Kelsey beside her. But let's take a step back. This isn't just tragedy, it's transformation, because what Kelsey did took courage. In a league that constantly preaches unity and loyalty, she chose independence. She chose peace over pressure. And that might just inspire other players to start demanding the same. Across the WNBA, you can feel a quiet rebellion forming. Veterans tired of being undervalued, rookies realizing how fast the spotlight burns, and front offices suddenly learning that talent doesn't equal loyalty. Kelsey Mitchell just reminded everyone, you can't build a dynasty on disrespect. So where does Indiana go from here? They'll rebuild again. They'll draft, they'll sign, they'll spin the PR wheel. But you can't replace heart. You can't replace what Kelsey gave. Consistency, resilience, soul. That doesn't show up in the box score. It shows up when the lights dim and the crowd goes silent. And everyone in that arena feels something's missing. And that's the story we'll remember. Not the stats, not the trade, not the silence, but the stand she took. The moment Kelsey Mitchell looked at the system and said, "I've given you everything. Now I'm giving myself back." Indiana might have lost a player. The WNBA just gained a message. You've been watching Her Hoops, where we tell the stories they're too afraid to say out loud. If you felt this one, hit that like button, drop your thoughts below, and subscribe, because this conversation is only just getting started. Fire basketball.